AI is taking the world by storm and is increasingly used in software development. But what can it really do? Hi there, I'm a software engineer with over 9 years of professional experience, and today I'll be trying out Cursor AI for the very first time. My goal is to use it to create a website in React TypeScript that shows a simple but playable Hangman game. I'm a bit weak on React and haven't made Hangman before, so let's see how this goes. Hey. Um, so let's see. So all I've done is I've installed Cursor AI, logged in, and opened a brand new folder. So let's see. It says that if I hit Control K. Okay, so it looks like it is primarily meant to run inside of an existing code base. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try to run create React TypeScript application using Vite. And it gives us this command to use. Install all the things. We want to use React. And we are just going to use TypeScript. Something's happening. Not entirely sure what. Okay. And then npm run. Now we go to localhost. And it's just saying, oh, we exist. Okay, so that is our normal default Vite React. So what we want to do now is let's see, what is a good command that I could give this? Let's open our main.tsx. Okay, that we want to leave alone because we do want strict mode, I remember. And I'm just going to say create React function to run Hangman. Just see what that gives me. Okay, so it gave me a command, but I don't know that I can use that command. Because a different command is running? So, let's try it in a different window. Okay. So, it just kind of created a blank template, which isn't really what we want, like, at all. Um, and we also didn't really want it there. We wanted it inside of our Hangman AI folder. So I think that we did not want to use the create React component so much. let's go ahead and come in here and say Control K, replace with Hangman game, and see what it does with that. Word display logic will go here. Hangman drawing logic will go here. Okay. Seems to look right. And then we don't need all of these things. Okay, I am going to leave this app.tsx and this app.css just in case. Let's see. I'm just going to say make word display logic. Okay, and I'm having it literally tell me every single step here. And that's very tiny. I don't think that's going to be visible. But I'm going to go ahead and add it in here where it will be. And for use state, add the import. This is just declared but never read. That's fine. We are going to want to change this word, and I think that we can probably get as far even as randomizing a word, although that might be difficult. Right. Hangman drawing logic. Seems reasonable enough. Right. Letter, buttons, logic. Let's just say write letter buttons. Okay, and it's doing an array from map. Okay, that sounds reasonable. I'm going to say write game status display and logic. Okay. So currently it is compiling. I'm going to change this to just say word equals hangman, which is kind of the only change to this code I've made so far. Because we don't have a way to set the word yet. But maybe we'll be adding that. Okay, so now if we go back here, we are running still, so let's go back to actual page and refresh. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. 6 guesses is not a lot. Oh, so it's 6 mistakes. And you can see here that even when I guess incorrectly, it is not showing the stick figure. And I bet if we open the dev console, Let's refresh. Okay, so we are not actually seeing errors pop out of the dev console. So let's go back here. And I'm pretty certain that the problem is that these aren't things that exist. So let's see. Because we inspect, here's our hangman drawing div, but it's just kind of empty. And we can see that it's adding these divs, but that doesn't really do anything. So let's go to the chat here. And we're going to ask a follow-up question and say the drawing does not display. How do we fix that? Okay, so it gave us some code. I'm just going to copy some of this. This is even hard for me to see, honestly. Um, so now let's replace this part. Okay. Now let's go refresh the page again. Okay, so we can see that it's supposed to have done a hangman base, but it doesn't show up still. So I'm going to ask, with those changes, the hangman drawing still does not display anything to the user. Do we need to add graphic assets? It says, "You're right, and I apologize for the oversight. The hangman drawing isn't displaying because we haven't defined any visual styles for the hangman parts. We don't necessarily need graphic assets, but we do need to add some CSS to give these elements some visual representation. Here's how we can fix this." First, let's add some basic CSS for the hangman parts. Add this to your app CSS file. Oh, there's an apply button that I just clicked, and that did it all for me. So we're doing that in the future. 2, make sure your app.txs file is importing the CSS, and I believe it is. Yeah, it is. So that should be fine. And then at the bottom here, it's saying, remember, this is a basic stick figure representation. If you want more detailed or stylized graphics, You might indeed want to consider using image assets or more advanced CSS SVG techniques. Okay, so now we can see that there's even a space for the hangman. So there we go. Obviously, we need to increase the number of guesses to at least like 9 or 10. But it is working. It is a bit more functional than it was. So that's exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and take the hangman drawing part and move it up here just because I want it to display more like that. And then let's see. It looks like I'm gonna put this in the AI chat as well. It looks like the guest letters is limited to 6, but should be more because there are more parts to the hangman drawing. I'm just going to say that and see what it tells me. Okay, so the hangman drawing has 10 parts, but the game logic is currently limited to 6 guesses. Let's adjust this to match the number of hangman parts. Here's a concise fix. We're just gonna apply it. There we go. Max incorrect guesses equals hangman parts dot length. That's a good way of doing it. And then we use that instead of that. So there we go. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Now, I don't know if that was very visible from your side. Let me make that much, much bigger. So, even though it drew the entire stick figure, so, like, we lost, I kept clicking letters until it was able to just say, "You win!" So, let's see if cursor fixes that. As currently, the letters can still be clicked even when the game says we lost. Let's disable that. Okay, so now we have an is game over. Let's see, adds an is game over variable to check if the game has ended, either won or lost. Modifies the disabled prop of the letter buttons to include the is game over condition. Now, when the game is over, all letter buttons will be disabled, preventing further guesses. So let's go ahead and apply and accept those changes. And I guess I have to lose game over. The word was hangman. So the button is still highlighting but cannot be clicked, which is maybe not the best UI. But that's really all that I was intending to accomplish, was making a playable Hangman game. And this is definitely that. Let's see if we can do one more thing. I mentioned a little bit ago that maybe we can make this word be some other things. So I want to be able to have the game word be randomly variable. How do we do that? Here's a concise way to implement a random word selection for your Hangman game. And this one, it says it defines an array of words to choose from. It is not very long, but let's go ahead and apply that there. We don't need this import. Okay, so it looks like the words that it is doing are just Hangman, React, TypeScript, JavaScript, and programming, which isn't great, but obviously we could easily expand this list. Let's see how that works currently. Oh, and now there's a new game button? That was not there before. I don't think. So now we have a reset game function. So that's interesting that it added that with this prompt. So let's go ahead and... Okay, this is obviously going to be Hangman. You win. New game it. This is going to be React. Unfortunately, I have memorized the possible words. Okay, so the new game button works exactly the way we want it to. That's great. But let's see if we can make this array be a file instead. Instead of a hard-coded array of words, let's use a file or online dictionary source. Let's see if that gives us. Okay, so apparently there is a random word API. Let's go ahead and apply the changes and look at them in the more visible screen. Okay, so we once again go back to importing React, which I don't think we really need to do. And now we have this fetch random word being asynchronous, and it's going to this website. Let's go ahead and... Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and accept... Actually, let's look through if there's other changes before we accept this. Okay, so we now have, like, error and is loading, which is good to have regardless. And the new game button is not enabled when we're loading. That makes sense. Accept those changes. Refresh just to be clear. And localhost refused to connect. That's interesting. Let's go and see the terminal process executed. Okay. So, let's say npm run dev again. And now it's saying no such file. Okay, so now I'm asking in the chat, we can no longer run npm run dev. The error is enoent, and it says we cannot. Oh, this is probably because I'm need to cd into the other Hangman AI folder. So this is actually kind of my error. I forgot that we had a folder within a folder, which isn't really the setup I want anyway, so maybe we should fix that. But let's go ahead and work on this for right now. See about reloading. You can see our title for the web page is still Vite plus React plus TS, which is kind of funny. Okay, so now let's actually play Hangman. Okay, we got an A. Let's see. Okay, so RA something S. Ooh, Ravish. Okay, interesting word choice. Let's double check our new game button. And we saw the loading screen pop up, or at least I did. I'm not sure how well that'll come through in the recording. Uh, TES. S and then RE. Okay. Either I am not doing well at this game, or I'm bad at this. Okay. So something. I think there's 3 letters here. We're clearly missing a vowel. Hmm. I think this is a word I do not know. Oh, squired. Yeah, that is not a word I would have thought of. Let's just do one more. Always like to start with S, A, and T, because those are 3 of the most common letters in English. Okay, so we have STI blank blank A blank blank S. Okay, stink. Again, I'm pretty sure this is a word I do not know. It's not going to be a Y for sure. Oh, stinkards. Okay. So, maybe not the world's best word bank, but actually, maybe it is a great word bank to use for this in particular. So, I'm going to call this project done enough for my purposes for this video. Let's see. So what did we learn? First, we were basically able to get the AI to run to write the entirety of this for us. But we had to go in and be like, hey, where's the CSS? And things like that. So obviously this is a very powerful tool. I think that in the future I will be using it more. Um, I am going to say that I do an awful lot of code challenges recently, and for those I am not going to be using any AI tools because the whole point of it is for me to know how to do it. Um, but this was pretty exciting. And it even added some things that like I probably would have thought of, but didn't have in mind yet, like this reset button and the loading and error functionality around you calling out to the API. So I don't think this could replace a developer altogether. Like I don't think somebody could use this to go from one developer on a team to 0 developers on a team, but it could definitely increase the efficiency of every developer. And honestly, that's my whole point with AI. That is what I think is these AI tools, they're not really going to replace individuals, but people who know how to use these tools, people who use these tools, are going to replace people who don't. Um, but yeah, that's it for this one. Feel free to drop a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this type of content and want to see more, hit that like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.